students, welcome to the class. So in the continuation of the previous lecture, we have already calculated the value of R naught, and we have seen that we have to calculate the value of R naught, R1 dash dash Rn. So these are basically discrete autocorrelation function. These are basically discrete autocorrelation function, right? And we have to calculate why, because our signal is discrete. So now what is basically R1? As I have already told you that R1 can be obtained by multiplying every pulse strength AK by the strength of its immediate neighbor pulse, right? So for example, you can say that R1 can be defined as limit t tending towards infinity Tb upon T, that is 1 upon n, summation of AK and AK plus 1, right? So in the case of R naught, what we were doing in the case of R naught, that was the formula was limit t tending towards infinity 1 upon n, summation of AK into AK. We can write this like this, right? It will be more easy to understand that what is the meaning of R naught. So R naught is basically the relationship of the pulse by its own pulse without any significant delay, right? Here we can say that without any delay itself. So AK is just multiplied by AK, but we know that autocorrelation means the pulse, the relationship between the pulse and the shifted version of the pulse. So shifted version means what? The pulse can be shifted by TB, the pulse can be further shifted by 2 TB, the pulse can be further shifted by 3 TB and up to n TB. So you have to calculate all the correlation, right? So you have to calculate AK and AK plus 1. We have to calculate the relationship of AK to AK plus 2 also. We have to calculate the relationship of AK to AK plus 3 also, definitely up to AK plus n also, right? So that's why I am saying that here we are having the possibility of n discrete autocorrelation functions, right? Because we have to consider the kth pulse, and we have to calculate the relationship of the kth pulse to k plus 1th pulse, k plus 2th pulse, and dash dash k plus nth pulse. So I have to calculate the relationship of this pulse to the shifted version of the same pulse at k plus 1, at k plus 2, and dash dash at k plus n. Right? So it will be the most generalized autocorrelation function. It will be the most generalized autocorrelation function because we are taking all those n possible shifted versions, all those n possible shifted versions. So that's why I can say that R1 can be written as limit t tending towards infinity 1 upon n summation of AK into AK plus 1. And similarly, if we extend our discussion to Rn, then it can be simply written as limit t tending towards infinity, and we know that at the place of Tb by T we can write down simply 1 by n summation of AK into AK plus n, right? So AK remains constant because it is the kth pulse, and I have to calculate the autocorrelation of kth pulse to k plus 1, k plus 2 at dash dash up to k plus n. This is important, right? So this is the meaning of basically R naught to Rn. R naught means the relationship of AK into AK. R1 means the relationship between AK into AK plus 1. Rn means the relationship between AK into AK plus n. So these all R naught, R1 and Rn are discrete autocorrelation function, and now we can also write down it like the autocorrelation function. Now the autocorrelation function can be defined with the combination of all those discrete values. So autocorrelation function can be defined as 1 upon Tb summation of n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Rn tail of t minus n t, right? So here we have calculated, because these are simple values, right? So simple values can be represented by a simple impulse. So that's why we have multiplied the values of R1 to impulse, right? So here you can say that this is the value of autocorrelation function of signal xt, This is the value of autocorrelation of signal xt. Now if you calculated the autocorrelation value of xt, so you know that the power spectral density can be simply written as sxf, which can be 1 upon tb summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity rn e to the power minus j n 2 pi f tb. How we are writing it? We know that the power spectral density, we know that the power spectral density SXF will be the Fourier transform of the autocorrelation function of Rx tau, that we have already written in the previous slide, the value of Rx tau. So the value of Rx tau is 1 upon Tb summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity Rn del of T minus n Tb. So the Fourier transform of Rx tau can be simply written as like Sxf is equal to 1 upon Tb summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity Rn e to the power minus j n 2 pi f Tb. We know that the Fourier transform of impulse function is nothing but the exponential function, right? So this is the power spectral density of our input signal, and we know that we ultimately the objective of all these discussion is what, that we have to calculate the power spectral density of our line code yt, right? So to calculate the power spectral density of our line code yt, we know that we need the power spectral density of our input signal, that is xt. So here we have calculated the power spectral density of xt, and now this Sxf further can be simplified to 1 upon Tb in bracket R naught plus 2 times of summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity Rn cos of 2 pi nftb, right? So this is a simplify, we have simplified it. Why? Because we know that our input signal, as per this equation, the we can write here the auto correlation function can be treated as an even function, function, right? And if it is so, then we can modify this relationship to this, that is Sxf simply can be 1 upon Tb, and if we separate the value of R naught, then for all those values from R1 to infinity, what we can do, we can just double these values, because we compensate the values from n is equal to minus 1 to minus infinity into the value of n is equal to 1 to infinity, right? So we have to compensate those. So we just separate the value of r naught, that is at n is equal to 0, and then we can simply multiply from n is equal to 1 to infinity, we can multiply this factor by 2 to compensate all the values. And because this is an even function, so we know that we can simplify this exponential function can be simplified to cos function, right? So Rn is cos 2 pi f n t b. Now we are coming to our main point, that we know that we have to calculate the power spectral density of SYF, that is the PSD of line code. So SYF can be simply written as mod of PF square into SXF, and we know that we have calculated the value of SXF in the previous slide. Now we'll put the value of SXF here in this equation to get the power spectral density of line code, that is SYF. So SYF can be simply written as now mod of PF square upon TB in bracket R naught plus 2 times of summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity Rn cos of 2 pi f n t b, right? This is our relationship. Okay, this is our relationship. So this is our objective, that we have to find out the power spectral density of line code. So the power spectral of line code can be defined with the help of this formula. So ultimately, if we have to calculate the power spectral density of any line code, PSD of any line code, then we have to calculate the value of PF, right? Because ultimately we have to have the value of mod of PF, so we have to calculate PF, and then we should also know the value of R naught, R1 dash dash Rn, right? So if we calculating these two values, that is PF and discrete autocorrelation functions, then we have to put the values of these things into this equation to get the power spectral density of any line code, right? Now so you can say that uh, the PSD of any line code can be fully characterized by the value of discrete autocorrelation functions, that is Rn, and pulse shaping function. Means ultimately power spectral density is mainly depends on the pulse shape and the values of autocorrelation functions, right? So this is the power spectral density, and in the next class we will see some examples that what will be the power spectral density of different line codes. So we'll see those examples and we try to calculate the power spectral density of all possible line codes, and then we will also compare these all line codes on the basis of power spectral density, and we'll try to figure out that which code can be better for which application. So we'll see these things into the next lecture. Thank you very much, and we'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you.